The faint sound of crying echoed through the old school hallway, soft at first, almost like the wind sneaking through cracks. But it wasn't the wind. It was a boy's voice. Trembling. Desperate. Trapped. The janitor, Mr. Collins, froze when he heard it. It was late afternoon, the corridors empty, sunlight bleeding orange through the dusty windows. He followed the sound, each step heavier than the last, until it led into an abandoned section near the old gym where no one was supposed to go anymore. Then he heard it again, a muffled sob, coming from inside the wall. Ethan Parker was only 10 years old, a quiet kid with big brown eyes and a love for sketching superheroes. He wasn't the loudest in class, nor the fastest on the playground. But that made him a target. For weeks, a group of older boys had picked on him, hiding his backpack, tripping him in the hall, calling him names that clung to his heart like glue. But he never told his mom, because she had enough to worry about. His mother, Sarah Parker, worked 2 jobs, nurse by day, waitress by night, to keep their small apartment running after Ethan's father walked out years ago. She would come home with tired eyes and a smile she forced, asking, "How was school, sweetheart?" And Ethan would lie, "Good, Mom," because he didn't want her to carry his pain too. But that Friday, things went too far. The bullies, 3 boys from the grade above, cornered him after school in the old gym. "Scaredy cat," one sneered, shoving him. Another laughed, "He cries like a baby every time." Ethan's drawings fell from his hands, scattering across the dusty floor, sketches of heroes saving people, of hope. One boy picked up a drawing and ripped it in half. "You think you're some kind of hero? You're nothing." Then one of them got a wicked idea. Behind the gym, a maintenance area was under renovation, with wooden panels covering a partially sealed section of wall. "Let's see how quiet he is when no one can hear him cry," the ringleader whispered. Before Ethan could run, they dragged him inside, pushed him into the small hollow space between 2 panels, and nailed a piece of wood shut over the gap. He screamed. He pounded on the wood. But his voice was swallowed by the thick walls and the laughter that trailed off as the bullies ran away. Hours passed. The sun began to set. Ethan's voice grew hoarse. His small hands were raw from pounding. Then, finally, he stopped calling for help. He curled up, hugging his knees in the darkness, whispering softly to himself, "Mom will find me, she always finds me." At that same time, Sarah Parker's shift at the diner was ending. She looked at the clock, 7:45 p.m. Ethan should have been home long ago. Her stomach tightened. She tried calling his small flip phone, but it went straight to voicemail. Her pulse quickened as she grabbed her jacket and rushed out, her mind racing through every horrible possibility. By the time she reached the school, it was dark. Only the janitor's truck was in the lot. She called Ethan's name as she ran down the hallways, her voice echoing. That's when she found Mr. Collins, standing near the old gym wall, pale and trembling. "I hear something," he whispered. Sarah pressed her ear to the wall. Nothing. Then, faintly, a whimper. She froze. "Ethan," she cried out, her voice cracking. And from the other side of the wall, she heard it, her son's weak, muffled voice, "Mom?" Sarah's heart nearly stopped. "Hold on, baby. Mommy's here," she screamed. Without thinking, she grabbed a hammer from the janitor's toolbox and started ripping through the wooden boards. Her hands bled from the splinters, tears streaming down her face as she tore away piece after piece. The janitor tried to help, but she was unstoppable, driven by something deeper than fear, deeper than pain. When the last board cracked open, a small figure stumbled forward into her arms. Ethan, covered in dust, eyes swollen from crying. He clung to her, sobbing uncontrollably, whispering, "I thought you wouldn't find me." Sarah held him so tight he could barely breathe. "I will always find you," she cried. "No matter where you are." The police were called. The bullies were found and suspended, their parents brought in for questioning. But while everyone focused on punishment, Sarah focused on healing. Ethan had nightmares for weeks, dreams of being trapped, of hearing laughter in the dark. But every night, his mother would sit by his bed, holding his hand until he fell asleep. One evening, she found him sketching again, this time, not superheroes, but a woman breaking through a wall with a hammer, saving a small boy. He smiled shyly when he showed her. "It's you," he said softly. Tears filled her eyes. "No, sweetheart," she whispered, pulling him close. "That's you. You're the hero." Months later, Ethan stood in front of his class, giving a speech for a school contest. His topic: the strongest people are the ones who keep going. His voice trembled at first, but then it grew firm. I learned that even when people try to trap you, when you feel small and scared, you can still find your way out. Because courage isn't about never being afraid. It's about fighting through the fear. The room went silent. Then his classmates began to clap, one by one, then all together. Even the bullies, sitting in the back with their heads lowered, couldn't help but listen. Sarah watched from the back row, tears glistening in her eyes. Her little boy had found his voice and his strength.